Okay, I think we're live. Hey, y'all. Join in. We are on week 5 interviews. Y'all join in. And if you could, please grant StreamYard permission for us to see your comments so that when we start the interview, we can see who your comment is from. So if you could it should be a link. And if it's not a link, let me know. And I'll go on there and add the link to where you can grant StreamYard permission for us to see your comments. I'm really excited. We made it all the way through the month of March with all these interviews. There have been some amazing interviews, and I'm just happy that we've remained consistent and have gotten some great feedback and testimonies of our interview segment of Her Story. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. I don't know why I need something to drink. If y'all could join in, just say hey so we can see y'all. Today is going to be a really great interview. And it's going to be very beneficial for married women and unmarried women who plan to be married. So I'm excited to talk to Janelle today. Hey, y'all. If y'all could grant StreamYard permission for us to see your comments, that would be great. So we're getting ready to bring Janelle in. Hey. So for those who are just joining us tonight, my name is Bria Jefferson, and I am the founder of the Greenhouse Effect HSV, Huntsville. And basically, I have a nonprofit where, let me turn this down, I'm sorry. I have a nonprofit where we talk about all things entrepreneurship. We host brunches, lunches, going to be some dinners, YouTube interviews, just a bunch of things revolving around entrepreneurship so that we all can kind of learn off of each other and feed off each other. And so what we're doing this month is hey, Corey, we're doing a Facebook live series, and we are on week 5. I believe this is episode 10. Maybe 11. I'm wrong. I gotta check, and I gotta keep up with it. Anyway, so we're doing a Facebook live series, just getting different testimonies from women in our community, getting to know them behind their business. So if you could please like, share, subscribe, comment to our YouTube, The Greenhouse Effect HSV, where we have all these interviews posted, and you can rewatch them as much as you like. And we are, again, the greenhouse where we bud, bloom, and blossom, learning together in entrepreneurship. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Janelle on the camera. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can hear you. So thank you so much for joining us, Janelle. I'm excited.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. I'm excited to hear your journey and hear your testimony behind your business, as well as getting to know you a little bit better. So we're going to start off with your business spotlight. You have Bettis Financial. So for those who do not know, could you give us a little brief explanation of what Bettis Financial is and what you offer?
So, Bettis Financial is a bookkeeping and accounting firm. We specialize in bookkeeping for small business owners and entrepreneurs that help you save time and provide you peace of mind. So, if you're someone that says, man, I really struggle with managing my books every month, keeping accurate records, we would be the people that you would hire to partner with you to take that stress off of you. So, that's a little bit about what we do.
Okay. So how does your business start? Have you always had a passion for financial or accounting? Has it always been something that's just been in you, or did you just develop a passion for that?
So I actually took a job while I was in college. Started working at a bank and absolutely loved it. Like
Okay.
loved everything about it. And but I didn't realize initially that it was a passion until or my purpose until one day I had a client that came in and they needed to do a withdrawal. A couple weeks before that, these people had won a $250,000 lawsuit. So they had the money. They came in to do a withdrawal, said they had to get their daughter some medicine, and I had to be the one to tell them that unfortunately they didn't have no money. In 2 weeks, they had blew $250,000, and
Wow.
that day was the day that God showed me that this was a part of my purpose, to make sure that people were educated not only in their personal finances but also in business of how to manage their money, because simple things like buying medicine should not become a hardship for people, So that's how I discovered that this was my purpose. And I've been doing this for 12 years now. 12
Oh, wow.
been in
Okay.
finance 12 years.
Cool. So, well, I'm just wondering how you blow that type of money in 2 weeks. Like, that's
Oh,
crazy.
it's definitely possible. Just
Yeah.
withdrawals on just things they didn't have a plan for it. So anytime you get that type of money or resource that you do not have a plan for, it can go so fast.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Like I said, that's
Yes.
crazy. So you said the service that you offer, is it mostly for entrepreneurs or is it just for anyone? Do you service anyone with
Yes.
your
So um our a lot of our clients are in different industries. They're hairstylists, they're makeup artists, they're photographers. They may have be a service based business, or they may be a retail business. They may be a corporation. All of these different industries, we have service before. But the ones that are probably near and dear to my heart are the service based business, because they're like a lot like me. So a lot of the systems and processes and procedures and things that they need to be confident in doing the business, we walk alongside them to make sure that they are confident in the decisions that they're having to make. So,
Okay. Awesome. Hey, Michaela.
hey, Michaela.
So, do you have any type of packages that you offer
Yeah.
that you can
So
tell us briefly about?
Mhm. So with Bettis Financial, we tend to take a different approach with packages. We don't do like a one size fit all for business owners, because every business is different. So you may be someone that says, okay, I really just need someone to just be like the financial manager of my business. We got packages for that. You may just need somebody to say, okay, I need just a quick cleanup of my books. So we have quarterly packages where you may not have a bookkeeper from month to month, but you may say, okay, I'm gonna bring a bookkeeper in or an accountant in for the quarter and clean
Mhm.
my books up that way. Or you may be someone to say, I need a little bit of business coaching and you to manage my books. We got
Yeah.
packages for that. So, and they can, everybody's budget is different, right? So that's
Mhm.
again why I say we do a consultation to see what services you actually need. And the good thing is we grow with you. So you may not initially need our premium package. You may just need the starter package. And then as your business continues to grow, we can add services to your package.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think what you said was really important because, I mean, for me personally, I thought that when you had an accountant, it was like a year contract and you just, sign up for a year or something like that. I didn't know that you do like as the person needs, like
Hmm.
quarterly is really good. I think it's really good.
Yes,
Like you said, somebody just to come in and clean up your books when you need to, and then, you can take a break or however you feel. So I like that you work with people's budget.
absolutely. And so the other thing is, like, I like to take the educational piece. So I want to make sure that you are educated about what I am doing in your book so that you can do it when I'm not with you, right? So I don't want to have to come back and redo everything that we've implemented because I didn't teach you how to manage it the day to day, if that's not something that you hire Bettis Financial to do for you. So the
Right.
education piece is making sure that business owners do know how to manage their day-to-day finances of their business.
Okay, good. That's awesome. I'm glad, like you said, you educate us as well, so that we're just not like depending on you and don't know what we're doing.
Yes.
So like when you're not there, we're stuck. So it's important, like you said, to definitely give education so that the person behind their business knows how to do it if something were to happen, you're not available or whatever.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
So like, well, I guess you talked about the booking process. They do a consultation with you, and then you go from there. So how far in advance would someone need to book you for a successful collaboration with you? How far in advance would someone need to book you, like to get everything in order with their books or whatever services they need from you?
So initially, when after we do your consultation, we do what we call a financial review, where we take a look at everything that you have going on operationally, financially, and then we implement a plan of how long I estimate it's going to take us to fix the stuff that I've found is an area or concern for you. And
Mhm.
then, so that can be 3 months, it could be 6 months together that we need. But initially, it takes us your initial time, it takes us at least 30 days to start the cleanup process of getting some things in order, depending on how basic we need to be, whether you may not have everything in place to be an established business owner. So we take that portion and literally take you through each step. So
Okay, cool. So, with that being said, what is the best method to contact you? Is it through your social media or your website, phone number? What's the best method to contact you if someone wants to work with you?
So our clients come from all different places. If you contact us via social media, we're Bettis Financial on all social media outlets. If you go through our website, it's www.bettisfinancial.com. Or if you just want to send me an email and get scheduled that way, my assistant will get you on the calendar, and that's info@bettisfinancial.com.
Okay, cool. So you all heard her contact information. Definitely book with her if you need any type of bookkeeping, accounting services, financial services. I said she is really nice. I can vouch for her. Like, look, I vouch for people that interview because I'm not gonna bring nobody in here that's like gonna take your money and run off on your money, anything like that. So definitely, like I said, you'll have a great experience. So if you're interested, definitely contact her.
Yes.
So, with that being said, we're going to switch to our Mauve Convo interview or a
Okay.
section of the interview.
Okay.
And for those who are joining us again tonight for the first time, the Mauve Convo is basically getting to know the person behind the business. This is getting to know Janelle's story and her kind of like her. So her interview summary is talking about merging marriage and business, entrepreneurship with business, and how she had to create a schedule, a type of balance in her home. Because I know how it can be. Like I said, my husband and I were entrepreneurs, and we had to have that type of conversation and that type of balance in our house too. And this is something that I don't think is talked about enough, and it's important to talk about it because you don't want to jump into a marriage where something like this is not discussed, and it's always healthy ways to discuss an issue. So we're
Yes.
going to talk about this, and let's jump on into it.
Okay.
So Janelle, how was your pre-marriage life? Have you always been kind of chill, or were you like more outgoing?
So I actually was very outgoing. So
Okay.
my my name on social media used to be "You Can Find Me Working" because I was literally always working somewhere. So I used to have all these little side hustles, and I was working full time, and I was always doing something. So I've always been about my money. So whatever I could do to just continue to grow and build as a business owner. And even at the time, I wasn't even thinking that the things I was doing was working towards building a life as an entrepreneur. So it was just like,
Mhm.
oh, I enjoy these things, so I'm going to do them. I was single, and I had the time, and I could do it. I have to check with
Yeah,
nobody. So
right.
if I wanted to do it, I did it. And so that was what my life was like pre-marriage. Very active.
Very active. Okay. So when you did get married, because how long have you been married?
So it'll be 8 years in July.
Okay, congratulations. I'm saying we hit 8 years too this year.
Yep.
Okay,
8 years in July.
congratulations.
Thank you.
So how did you merge entrepreneurship with your marriage? Like when you found out there was an issue with you knowing how to balance the two, how did you in your head kind of merge the two together? What did you think, or what was your thought process of, okay, I need to spend more time with him. We need to spend more time together. We need to, have a cutoff. What was your method and how did you merge entrepreneurship with balancing your marriage?
So initially, I used to feel like, and this me being very transparent, I used to feel like I was failing as a wife. I
Mm.
was doing great things as an entrepreneur, but I felt like at home I was failing because there was no balance between the two. I would get up early, work, go to bed late, still working, trying to figure out, okay, well, when can we spend time together? What does that gonna look like? Is it a normal date life balance? And everything that I knew had to be adjusted. So one of the things that helped me to begin to merge marriage and entrepreneurship was having a calendar. So I'm the planner of our relationship. My husband is the more spontaneous one. I'm like, if it ain't on my calendar, I ain't doing it.
Same.
And so, but I had to learn how to balance the two because I didn't want to cut him off of his personality. So sometimes my schedule needs to be more flexible to in incorporate those times where he wants to go and do something that's not planned, and we can
Mhm.
just go and do it. And then there's other times where our date nights or day dates, as we have to do because of his work schedule, those things are planned so that we can actually make sure that we are growing and building as a couple, even
Right.
simultaneously while I'm building a business at the same time.
Right. So with you being said, you were the planner. Did you notice that you didn't have that balance first, or did he kind of notice it, or was it like a mutual thing? Like, okay, we're not on the same page with some stuff.
No, he noticed it first. He was like, so when I worked in corporate, things just flowed very well. I planned. I was just, you have that schedule, like, okay, when I get off work, we're gonna do these things, and this is the time I'm gonna cook. And then it was like when I transitioned from being in corporate to being a full-time entrepreneur, it was almost at times like a culture shock. Like, okay,
Mm.
I know how to manage my time. I know how to be a good steward over everything that I'm doing, but the balance between how long to work on stuff, how long to be on the phone with phone calls, all of those different pieces had to be managed and worked through. And
Yeah.
I had to have the proper systems in place to account for that. So
Mm.
that meant adding people to my team. That meant on certain days, I can't do consultations all week long because that may end up impacting other things that's on my schedule. So um, I had to relearn what worked because trying to do stuff in how it used to be did not work for me.
Yeah.
And
I think
he
it's good though. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was gonna say, and he pointed that out. He's like, you are literally working all day. He's like, you're working 12, 14-hour work days. It's like, so now that you're a full-time entrepreneur, you don't work a regular schedule. Like, how does this work? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Like you probably thinking this woman is crazy. Like, what
Yes.
is
So, because he would literally leave for work some days and I would be working. He would come home and I would still be working. And it's
Yeah.
like, so you don't take a break or like, so I literally had to, I started doing time blocking, and
Mm.
that helped me better manage the time. So every time on my calendar, it's like all colorful of, okay, from this time to this time, I'm only working on checking in with my team, and this time I'm managing bookkeeping and accounts and things like that, and or I'm returning phone calls during this time. And then after I get off work, it's family time. So
Right.
that's the piece where you got to make sure that you don't let anything steal that time. Although you know that there's still stuff that needs to be done, I still have to focus on, okay, this is the time that I said belongs to my family, and I'm going to adhere to that.
That's good. And I know it's one thing I keep hearing that you say is that y'all, he said this and you said this. So one thing that, of course, is most important to me in marriage is communication. If you have a broken communication, to me, that's like your foundation. Nothing above that is stable. So
Yeah.
if communication is not there, like trust is not going to be there. everything, like I said, it just kind of crumbles, in my opinion. So I think that's
Absolutely.
really good that y'all had that level of communication where he can come to you and tell you something that's going on, and you can say, okay, well, let me look at myself and adjust, because
Mhm.
we as women, we have to do that. We're not always right.
Yes, absolutely.
It's about compromise, and that's how you build a healthy marriage, is by
Yes.
communicating and compromising, sometimes coming together, find a solution. So your
Hmm.
solution was to put it in your schedule, on your calendar, to
Yep.
incorporate time with your husband. So I think that's
Hmm.
awesome. That's really good.
And I think
So go ahead.
I was gonna think. I said every marriage is different. So
Mhm.
some people may not need calendars and stuff, and you may both be spontaneous and say, "Okay, we can just work through this, and it'll be fine." Or depending on the type of industry that you're in, um, it may be able to you may be able to just say, "Okay, well, I can work 4 hours a day and get everything done, and the rest of my day is centered around my family and my kids, and being able to be
Yeah.
present in those things that a normal 9 to 5 would not allow you to attend or be present at."
Yeah. And that's the thing about me. Like I work plenty of 9 to 5s, but me personally, I just value my kids and
Hmm.
family. And I know that, it's time you'll never get back. So I
Yes.
get that. Yeah. So with that being said, is your husband an entrepreneur?
No, he actually works full time. And I asked him one day if he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He's like, "I don't know if that's the life for me." He's like, "It works good for you."
Yeah.
But I I give him a glimpse of what entrepreneurship looks like.
It's
So
tough. It's
it's
tough.
it's very tough. And some days, like, but he's my biggest cheerleader on those days where it is tough. And the days that I'm
It's good.
crying or feeling upset or feeling defeated just from my own thinking, being an entrepreneur, you have a lot on your plate to think about and
Yeah.
manage, and that too can play a toll on your marriage. So but he's been my biggest cheerleader, and he was actually the first person that ever said to me, "I could see you working for yourself." And from him speaking that over me, it literally changed my perspective in how I saw myself, because I never really considered myself as an entrepreneur. I was like, "Oh, well, I could just retire from a company and I'll just have a little side business and I'll be
Yeah.
cool."
I think a
But
lot of people think like that, honestly, because I
mhm,
was the same way. I was like, my plan was to work underneath the senior engineer and,
mhm,
to retire at the company, just like you said. But it's
yep,
it's funny how, God put something in you and reveals something to you and reveals
yes,
your purpose, and you just are so happy.
mhm,
You can make money while you're happy. And I know it's like what's the saying about, like, something about having a job. If you're happy while doing a job, it doesn't feel like a job. And
yeah,
that's what it is like when you operate in what your God-given talent and purpose is. It don't feel like a job. It gets hard sometimes because you have to be so strong behind things. You have to
mhm,
motivate yourself. You have to keep pushing yourself and waking up and going to bed on time, remembering to eat,
yes.
just so
That is a real thing.
yeah, like you be working like before you know it, 6 hours are gone by. You ain't even ate nothing, and
Yep.
so I understand that. So do you feel that the with him working a 9 to 5 was hard to adjust with your schedule as being an entrepreneur? Like, with him going to work and him coming home, and like I said, when he came home, you were still working.
Mhm.
Um, how did y'all like feel with that? Was that the issue, more so the issue with you working too much, or was it more so the issue that y'all weren't just spending enough time together?
It was both. One,
Okay.
I was working too much because I'm one of, if you know me, I'm one of those people that I'm very determined with anything I do. So if I take on something, I want to see it all the way through. So I don't want, once I get into work mode, I want to just keep working until it's done.
Yeah.
But from his perspective is like, it's still tomorrow. Like tomorrow, whatever you don't finish, you could just pick up tomorrow. And I'm like, but I
That
got other
throws your
stuff I want to
brain.
do tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you're in the trance of doing something, it's like you just
Hmm.
gotta do it then, because if tomorrow comes, it's like you
Yep.
might forget what you were doing.
Yep. And something else. And it's like sometimes you just feel like you have a different type of grace in that moment to complete a task. And so
Mhm.
sometimes is communicating, hey, I really feel God's presence on giving me the strength to get this done, and being able to communicate that effectively to your spouse and say, hey, I just need about 2 more minutes or maybe 5 more minutes
Oh,
to
maybe
really,
10.
right. I really need about 20 more minutes to get this done. And just being open to communicate that with him. But the other piece is that I had to learn to start bringing him in to whatever it was I was doing. So that still lets me still work on it. But now I have now included him in what I'm doing. So it still helps us to get to spend that time together. But then knowing that I got to cut it off because I am married and it's a compromise, right? So if I
Mhm.
was single, yeah, I can stay up and do whatever I want to do and work as much as I want, and and not have to, discuss it with anybody. But because I am married, I have to recognize that, hey, this is a partnership, and in any partnership, even in business, you have to make sure that you have that balance between the two. And so being open to when he says, hey, remember you said you was getting off work at this time, like, I need you to go ahead and get off. And it's okay, no problem, I can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I forgot who I even heard this from. Like I think it was don't quote me wrong. If this is wrong. Somebody please don't shoot me. But anyway, I think it was like Rick Ross, or yeah, he owns the Wing Stop, I think.
Mhm, mhm.
So I think I was reading one interview one day where he made the comment about how everybody on his team has to be happy in order for the business to be successful. And so that made me just think about what you just said about including him into your
Yeah,
business. So now that you include him into your business, he's happy because y'all spending time together. You're
yeah,
happy because you're still getting work done. So you get more things done when your team is happy
yes,
versus you still kind of like shutting him out, like, okay, I'll be done in a minute. Like I'll be in there just going somewhere.
yep,
He's not necessarily happy, even though you may be because you're alone spending time, doing what you're doing. But it was important to include him in there. So, like I said, everybody is happy on the same page and you're able to move
yep.
forward. So, I would encourage everyone or anyone to do that. Like,
Hmm.
just make your team happy. Make sure your team is happy because if they're happy, then you're happy and the business grows.
Yeah.
So,
And in a wife, this is what I call like a little wife hack. If you're a business owner, and your husband, coming to your office and he's wanting quality time, I will literally ask him a question that I already know the answer to,
and make him feel like,
and make him feel like, you know what, sir, that's the best decision, best idea that we could have ever done in
yep,
business. And and I will just go on and on and on about whatever it was that we discussed, because not only does he need to be affirmed in who God's calling him to be, because again, not every husband wants to marry an entrepreneur, and
hmm
not every husband is graced for an entrepreneur, and
yeah,
and vice versa. So that's
yeah,
why it's so important that you recognize, one, who you marry, who you're supposed to
mhm.
be married to, because of the grace that's on the marriage, and then the purpose that the marriage is supposed to serve. So, but
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna get into all that,
But I was going to let you just keep going because I want to hear that.
but that's why you got to know who you're called to. That's in especially in marriage and in business, like, right? Because it's like marriage is just as equally important as your business, and what you put your time and money and invest in, you're going to be able to see the fruit from it. So if I'm not in the place of allowing him to give vision, because again, the Bettis Financial does not only represent me, although I'm the one that works it, it's his last name as well. So
Mhm.
everything that I do as a business owner is a direct reflection of my husband.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm out here not doing what I'm supposed to do, not coming to my meetings, not showing up, or just anything, they'll say, hey, don't you own Bettis Financial? You can't be like, no, that's my wife's business. No, it's our business. So that's why you got to know that everything that you do in marriage and in business is also a reflection of your
Of
spouse.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
Mhm.
And some people can lose sight that it be like, oh, this is me. But
Yep.
no, like you said, you have to remember in marriage, you're one.
Yep.
So whatever you do is basically, like you said, a reflection of him, and whatever
Yep.
he does is a reflection of you. So I completely
Absolutely.
understand that.
Mhm.
So that was really good advice. So if you don't have another one, I understand because that was really good. But if y'all have any questions, feel free to drop them because we're going to close out with our last question, which was, and I also want to put a part like a second half on this question. What's the biggest piece of advice you can give to someone going through a difficult time while creating a schedule or balance within their marriage and business? And I also want you like to briefly tell us about your marriage group because I
Okay.
know you. Yeah, I just want you to tell about it.
Okay. So, a piece of advice that I would give, if you're struggling with like your time and your balance between marriage and business, is one, you got to give yourself grace
Mm-hmm.
because you do not have it all figured out in a
Mm-hmm.
day, right? Some days your schedule and planning is going to work and it's going to be perfect. And then other days it's going to feel like, man, nothing that we are planning or doing is working. And so in those moments, you got to extend grace to yourself and to your spouse. But the important thing is that you keep trying until you guys find what does work. So
Yeah.
for me, time blocking works. I'm very serious about my calendar. So, like I said, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it because that's just how I have had to implement boundaries into my life to make sure that I can show up where I'm supposed to be as a business owner, but then also show up as a wife when it's time for me to be with my family and doing the things that I'm supposed to do there. Because again, everything that God has given us, we've been called to steward it in a way, and we'll have to account for how we treated it and what we did or
Mhm.
didn't do and all of that. And so I think about those things. And so whenever I feel like, man, I'm really not measuring up to everything that I'm supposed to be doing, I
Right.
take a moment to reset,
Don't be so hard on
while
yourself.
don't be so hard on yourself. While he's at work, I usually take some time to have self-care for me because sometimes things may not be working because I'm tired and I
Mm-hmm.
just need to take a moment to just breathe and do something that I want to do that doesn't require me to check in or check a schedule or do all of these different things. So it's like sometimes you got to check in with you and make sure that you are okay, and then um, just extend yourself grace in all those other areas.
Very true. I agree. And so, again, with the part two, could you tell us about your marriage group?
Yes. So I have a personal marriage group that we're going to actually launch. Right now the schedule says July, but I think it's going to be before then. So it's called
Okay.
Wife Rules. So Wife Rules is living out your marriage by your rules, and what it is, it's just a community of married women or those who are about to be married. We just gather, we talk about just marriage life, like things just like this. Because here's the thing: it's like we are all having to go through or overcome something in marriage.
Oh yeah.
And many times, they used to say, oh, you don't share nothing that goes on in your marriage. Well, this is a safe space. So the
Mm-hmm.
thing about a safe space is that there's no judgment here. What we talk about does not leave the space. You
So,
may
what's that?
need to.
Are you gonna do NDAs?
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
one of the things, like, I'm very serious about building and creating a space for healthy marriages to flourish. And people have to know that I'm not in this alone. Like, the thing about marriage is that if you've never been married before, you don't know what you're doing because you've never done it before. And if you've been married before and it didn't work out, well, guess what? Now you have to relearn a new person and things
Mhm.
and overcome challenges that you may say, man, it didn't work out. So is this one not going to work out? Different fears that's associated with marriage and just things that we go to school for everything else. But oftentimes when it comes to those foundational things at home, like marriage and building a family and actually overcoming challenges that can destroy a marriage, that's not the time to say, okay, I'm gonna just be shut in and I'm not gonna talk about it to nobody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what if I come to a group meeting and one of my sisters has gone through the very thing that I'm
True.
experiencing? They now can provide me wisdom and insight and strategy on how to navigate through that place. So
Right.
um, that's just a little bit about what we do. But outside of that, I do have a group for women that are married and those who desire to be married. It's called The Vow, and anybody can join that. And that's on Facebook. So it's called The Vow
Okay.
Ministries.
Cool. So, like I said, I'm interested because I we really do need that. Like someone who can just give us advice about a situation. Because I remember, like, I got married young, and even things that we went through, I really, you don't want to talk to your parents about stuff.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can't out. So it's like, you really don't want to talk to your friends if they're single because they don't know. So
Yeah.
that was my struggle. I was one of the ones, like, the first one to get married out of my friend group. And I didn't have anyone to confide in or talk about things, that I went through in marriage. And so it was kind of like, I hit a dead wall sometimes. And, you need that support system of women, like you said, who have been through it, because they can give you advice on how to deal with this or deal with that, or go here, or, whatever the case may be. So that's good. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, you can count me in because I'm going to be there.
Yes, I am looking forward to. So that'll say right now we got it scheduled tentatively for July. But I've been with conversations that I've been having lately. Oh, she get married in June. Yes. So that's probably just confirmation that it needs to happen before July. But I'm excited because I really believe that it's going to help a lot of women.
Yeah, it is.
Be
I know.
encouraged as a wife, because again, we have a lot that we have to
It's
manage.
hard. It's hard. It's
You know,
hard. I
it's
ain't gonna
hard out
lie.
here.
It's hard being married. Okay, so I would say the easiest stage of being married is when it's just you and him. When it's
Yes.
just you and him.
Hmm.
Then when like I said, if you add something different like entrepreneurship, that makes it a little tougher because now, like you said, you dealt with the schedule and thing.
Hmm.
Then marriage gets harder when you add a baby.
Yeah.
When you had a baby, it gets hard because, like I
Yep.
said, men are babies. So you got a baby here, like especially a newborn. You got
Yep.
10 to a newborn, and you got 10 to the man baby. So that
Hmm.
makes it harder. But like I feel like as you add more to the pot, whether it's pets or maybe one of you might go to the military, like it's hard,
Hmm.
like different obstacles in the marriage. And that's what can make it tough because you're faced with different things. You have to deal with marriage when like if a parent dies, a
Yes.
in-law dies, you get to see this person go through these different transitional stages.
Yep.
It's not going to always be like it was in the beginning. Like that's one thing I didn't know. Marriage changes, the person changes, circumstances,
Yes.
things changes. He might, or you might get an arm or leg cut off. Just
Yep.
different things like that. Like major things can happen. You still have to have that core foundation
Yep.
of the marriage together. So, like I said, I know it's going to be really good because everybody has so
Absolutely.
much input they could bring into it.
Yep. And the thing is like every day we wake up and we have to choose to be married, right? Like it is a choice every single day to say, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my absolute best with this person that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And that is hard work within itself because, like you said, we grow and we change. We're not the same person that we were when we first got married. And well, I would hope that we're not, but just having to experience different life phases that you go through
Yeah.
together. It's a beautiful thing, but it is a lot of work every single day. So,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
mhm.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm glad for your feedback, Janelle. This has been a very awesome interview, very enlightening interview, and I'm so glad that I remember to tell you to talk about your marriage group because
Yes.
I remember that. But yeah, so I want to thank you for doing the interview with us. This has been amazing. I learned so much off of you just in the short 40 minutes that we've been on the call. So again, I really appreciate you just coming in, giving your feedback, and just being transparent about even just your marriage, your business, and everything in between. So thank you again, and congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so proud of everything that you are doing. So this is such a great display of sisterhood and
Yeah.
empowerment. So congratulations to you and everything that you have coming in the future.
Well, thank you. No, really, I appreciate it. Like, it was really, like a jump off the cliff moment with these lives. Cause like, I don't do lives. So, but I did want to do something different. So like you said, that we can kind of see each
Yes.
other,
Hmm.
kind of see each other past the social media
Yep.
phase or whatever. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, for those who have joined us for the first time tonight, I hope you enjoyed this interview, got something out of it. Please be sure to connect with Janelle, add her on Facebook, Instagram. Like I said, if you need services from her, reach out to her. And if you are married or going to be married, join her marriage groups. I feel that would be very beneficial to you. And I hope that we can connect and see you soon as well. So please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to our YouTube, The Greenhouse Effect HSV. And leave us your thoughts, leave us your feedback, and don't forget to just connect with us. So this has been Bria with the Greenhouse, where we bud, bloom, and blossom, learning together in entrepreneurship. And we will see you on the next interview. See y'all.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye.